Let's see here. We have Ralph Nader. Yes, he's still around. Ralph Nader. This guy's a hermit. You know, he's a hermit. Can you imagine living like Ralph Nader? Probably like the show on cable, The Hoarders or something. I can't watch those shows. It's gross. No, Ralph, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that's how I think of you. That's how my imagination works. Mr. Consumer Protection. What would we do without Ralph Nader? Oh, the world would be... Oh. Anyway, Ralph Nader's at the College of New Jersey. And he has some words of advice to these college students after he's asked a question. Hat tip, naked emperor news. Cut 6, go.
Do you think that there's a need for a revolution in America, and if so, for what cause?
Stop. So there you have a young lady. No, I don't know this for a fact. So I'm just thinking this through. Hey, do you think they came for revolution in this? Can you wind that up again, Mr. Perdue? Yeah, let's hear this young lady. She sounds like a real revolutionary to me on her mother and father's nickel. Go ahead.
Do you think that there's a need for a revolution in America, and if so, for what cause?
Stop. Do you think there's a... Daddy, my bank account's running low. Mr. Nader, do you think there's we need a revolution? If so, what cause? Daddy, Mommy, I need a bigger allowance here in school. All right, let's hear what the idiot had to say. Go ahead.
Nonviolent revolution is long overdue because our government has been hijacked by increasingly fewer and more giant multi-corporations who have no allegiance to our country anymore other than control it and ship its jobs and industries to repressive regimes who make more money for these corporations. The question is, why don't the American people learn from their history? Why don't they learn from what's going on in some countries over in the Middle East? We're just showing up, just demonstrating, just marching. And with 15, 16 million college and community college and graduate students, what are they waiting for?
Oh, they're waiting for you, Ralph. We're all waiting for you. Please, are you going to run for president again and get your 12 votes? You'll get 12. Ron Paul will get 17. Go ahead, run. What are they waiting for? Well, let's see. I have a son in college, and I can tell you he's not waiting for you, you lunatic. He loves this country. He doesn't have all these conspiracies in his head like you do. The multinational corporations run everything. No, they don't. Big government runs everything. Multinational corporations run everything. Multinational corporations are only as powerful as our government allows them to be. But this is his obsession. But that wasn't my point. He's promoting a non-violent revolution. He says it's long overdue because our government has been hijacked by increasingly fewer and more giant multi-corporations. A non-violent revolution is long overdue. Ladies and gentlemen, we just had one. As a matter of fact, it's ongoing. It's called the Tea Party movement. Now, let me ask you a question. Has Ralph Nader participated in a single Tea Party rally? No, because he's a leftist nutjob. So we have a response to the counter-revolution that is statism, counter-revolution to the American Revolution. Now, all these words about revolution and so forth, when there's another tragedy, God forbid, but there will be, because that's the nature of a big country with a lot of nutjobs roaming the streets, also thanks to a lot of you liberals, but I won't go there right now. If there's another horrific tragedy in this country, are they going to pull out Ralph Nader's quote? Play it for you? No. How about Sherrod Brown with his Hitler and Stalin comments? No. Now, these are two men who belong in the National Institute of Civility out there in Tucson, which was formed in about 13 minutes and meets in the men's room on the first floor at the University of Arizona. Well, actually, Clinton's one of the leaders, so it meets in the ladies' bathroom. And there's Jessie Jackson, also at the College of New Jersey. Let's see what Jessie Jackson has to say that makes him relevant this week. Cut 7, go.
We need a revolution. It would be a revolution to stop a counter-revolution. A revolution, we often think it was violent, but we saw it in Montgomery, Birmingham, Cairo, South Africa. Also, were non-violent revolutions. You destroy institutions, not destroying people.
Boy, this guy sure lives in the past, doesn't he? Is there a revolution going on in Montgomery, Birmingham right now? South Africa? No. And should there be? And I'm getting confused. He says we need a revolution to stop a counter-revolution. Now, wait a minute. You're the counter-revolution to the American Revolution. We're the rebellion to your counter-revolution to the American Revolution. Follow that? Who's on first? So let me clear it up again for Jerkson. We're the rebellion to the counter-revolution that's a counter-revolution to the American Revolution. Thank me. Yes, we're going to have a revolution led by the hermit, Ralph Nader, and the irrelevant Jessie Jackson. Do you get the sense that these guys, Nader, Jackson, so forth, they long for the quote-unquote good old days? There's something sick about this. To me, this is not the America that it was, the late 50s and 60s, by any measure, in any way. I know this is true because I heard Eric Holder testify the other day, and he said so. Nothing compares to what took place in the 1960s. And I'll give him that, because I think he's right. So why do they keep comparing today to the 1960s? Get your demagoguery straight. And aren't there new hermits and so-called civil rights leaders? Why are we still brushing off these guys and coming out all the time? Well, maybe it's just as well. Anyway, David Gregory over there at Meet the Depressed. So we have violent rhetoric, claiming to be nonviolent rhetoric, coming from the hermit, Ralph Nader, and the washed-up Jessie Jackson. I'm sure you'll be playing this on your show Sunday when nobody will be watching. I'm sure you'll have Stretch Pelosi there, former Madam Speaker. Shouldn't you be denouncing Ralph Nader? Shouldn't you be denouncing Jessie Jackson? Right, David Gregory? No, I don't think so. Have I taken a call yet, Mr. Call Screener? You're working so hard screening out the nut jobs, I should really go to the regular Americans here, I think. I want to go to a dear friend of mine, a Gold Star father, the great Dave Jeffers. How are you? How you doing today, Dave?
I'm doing great. Hey, I got a couple of questions, though. I was going to try to do my best Mark Levin imitation, but I can't, so I want to try. Does Sherrod Brown go by does Sherrod Brown go by Cher or Rod for short?
Rod, I think.
Okay, yeah, and is Ralph Nader still alive?
His what?
Ralph.
All right, move on to your next point.
No, well, I just want to tell you, I was sitting there listening to you when you were talking about what they're doing to our country with your passion, and it just reminded me, because I remember Michelle Bachmann talking about your book and how it's the single most important book that's been written in a generation. You are present-day John Adams. You got the passion and the fire that great man had, and just keep it up, because these knuckleheads like Senator Brown, what do you say to that anymore?
I say what I said. You dismiss these people, and you fear for the country when jerks like this are in Congress.
I can't believe that a U.S. senator stood on the floor of the Senate and said what he said. It is just beyond comprehension. It is
Dave, imagine what they're saying when they're not on the floor of the Senate.
Oh, of course, that's the point. Because the Bible says, out of the heart the mouth speaks, and they're just getting caught in what they honestly think and feel.
Yeah, but out of the Communist Manifesto, it's out of the butt the mouth speaks. All right, my friend.
All right, brother. God bless.
You too. You too. Good man. Dear friend. Truthfully. Just a great guy. We'll be right back.
And in fact, viewership of Al Jazeera is going up in the United States because it's real news. You may not agree with it.
Hold on a second. Hold on. What's this guy's name? Oh, it's Hillary. Go ahead.
And in fact, viewership of Al Jazeera is going up in the United States because it's real news. You may not agree with it, but you feel like you're getting real news around the clock instead of a million commercials and, arguments between talking heads and the kind of stuff that we do on our news, which, is not particularly informative to us, let alone foreigners.
That's Hillary Rodham Clinton, her Thinus, hat tip ABC News in front of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee yesterday. My question, how can you tell the difference between Al Jazeera and the American news media? Is there a difference? Not to me. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't hear it. I'm losing my hearing more and more with these headphones, and you do radio. You can ask anybody who's done it for a period of time. It just does that to you. I'm not deaf. I'm not sound, but you do start to lose your hearing because of the intensity of the noise in your ears. I didn't hear Dave Jeffers say Ralph Nader, which I like, Dave. It's a good line. All right. That's enough of the audio. The audio basically for us is essentially the freak show segment. John, Point Pleasant, New Jersey, WABC. Go.
How you doing there, Mark?
All right, my brother.
All right. Thank you very much for taking my call. I wanted to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. If the Obama administration goes for going directly to the Supreme Court for their appeal on his motion, right. His declaration, shouldn't Elena Kagan recuse herself from even hearing anything regarding this case because she has already promoted it and argued in front of the Supreme Court prior to this?
John, you've raised a very good point with respect to her prior involvement with Obamacare, either in the Justice Department as the chief litigator there, as a solicitor, or in the White House as a hack. Now, you'll notice that in anticipation of demands that she recuse herself, the vicious, diabolical left has tried to turn this into an issue where Scalia and Thomas should recuse themselves, even though there's absolutely no basis whatsoever for them to recuse themselves. But they're out there hammering away at this to try and intimidate those two men and to try and neutralize requests, legitimate requests, that Kagan recuse herself. So yes, depending on how much she was involved in it, that's something people need to determine. And I would think that the attorney in the Supreme Court, or filing the papers with the court, who represents the states, or in Virginia's case, represents Virginia, will want to make an inquiry and raise the question about the extent to which Kagan was involved in this matter, because obviously you can't sit as a judge in a matter you were directly involved in. They're trying to paint Clarence Thomas, through his wonderful, wonderful wife, Ginny, as having some kind of implied or appearance of conflict. There is none. And with Scalia, with his comments, there is none. Thank you for your call, John. We'll be right back. I kid you not. During the show, my union, quote-unquote, after keeps sending me emails on their massive list. And I keep hitting the no spam button or whatever it's called, report spam, but they keep coming through. Let's see, dear AFTRA member, we hope you can join us for the 2011 AFTRA Media and Entertainment Excellent Awards, the Amy's, on March 21 at Club Nokia in Los Angeles. This year, just reading it, we are honoring veteran Spanish language Dodgers announcer Jaron. Wait a minute, they're also honoring America's Most Wanted John Walsh, recording legend, just letting you in a little peek into my life here, David Crosby. Mr. Call Screener, you're up on that kind of stuff. David Crosby, wasn't he the guy that was a drunk and got a new liver? Is he the one? Do I have that right? Did Mr. Call Screener go to the men's room, or is he still there? He doesn't know. Well, if not, my apologies. But I seem to recall that that's the guy. Now, back to this Al Jazeera that Hillary likes. I wonder what it is that she likes about Al Jazeera. Could it be their messaging? Like kill the Jews or destroy Israel? What is it about Al Jazeera? Al Jazeera, as opposed to Fox News, they hate the liberals. They hate Fox News. Now, Al Jazeera, they're okay. They're fair and balanced. But that Fox News, they go over the edge. I look at the primetime lineup at Fox News, which is very powerful, by the way, in terms of ratings. Prime time is from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. I see one solid conservative, Hannity. So what's all this talk about this right wing, that right wing? They're much more balanced and fair than the others. I look over at MSLSD. What do I see? Mental patients. Left-wing mental patients. Now, apparently, Chris Matthews likes to dig up dirt on Republicans. So he's reminding his audience today, Mr. Call Screener tells me, that Newt Gingrich had papers served on some wife at a certain time. I don't remember all the details. Now, here's a guy, Chris Matthews, who was a drunk. I hate to bring that up, but I mean, if you're going to go personal, Chris, it's very rude of you. Besides, you think I'm worse than Limbaugh and Hannity and all the rest of them put together. Isn't that what you said? So I might as well be. For you, anyway. That's not a thrill going up your leg. You're wetting yourself. That's a thrill going down your leg. So this is what it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen. Obama runs for president. We don't know a damn thing about the man. We don't know his health records, his grades, who he did cocaine with, or this, that, and the other. Nobody wants to know. It's historic. We don't want to know. Cult of personality. Yak, yak, yak. But with Newt, we got to know every damn thing. which we already know, because they've already gone through this when they tried to destroy him when he was Speaker of the House. Whoa, what do we know about Newt? Now, when it came to Bill Clinton, hey, that's his personal life. Nobody's interested. But when it comes to Sarah Palin's children, what? Who are they dating? Where are they? Hey, oh. When it comes to Jimmy Carter's kids, hey, lay off the kids. See the pattern?